Welcome everyone to Coffee, Cookies, and Books. I'm Judy, and this is episode 3. It's sort of a small book haul, a little bit less than 20 books that I've bought over the last couple months that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. So with all that in mind, see you on the other side. Thanks again for joining me today. Looking forward to going through my purchases with you. In the meantime, I'd love it if you could like and subscribe below. And of course, any comments would be much appreciated. It'll help me grow my channel, and my subscription button is definitely looking lonely right now. So I'd really love it if you could join. Okay, so let's talk books. So before I get into the actual haul, I wanted to explain a little bit about my reading. So I do tend to read a mix of genres. I don't stick to one or the other. I do have favorites. I do tend to read a little bit more romance than I do some of the others, simply because a lot of the romance reads are quick reads, nice and fast, and get a great story, get it done. So it almost feels a bit like a palate cleanser in between the fantasy, the sci-fi, the suspense, and that sort of thing. So, what I read is kind of a mix of everything. Now, typically, so for the year, I have been tracking what I've been reading, and I have read about 65 books so far to the end of September, I think. So I would say my average is probably about 5 books a month. Sometimes I hit 6, sometimes I hit 4. It really depends on how busy my actual business is. I am a professional photo retoucher, and I retouch for a lot of clients. So some months my regular business is super busy, and other times it's a little bit on the quieter side. So when it's a little bit quieter, I get a bit more time to read. Now, I also write, which I have mentioned that before in my previous 2 videos, and I am currently writing second book in a 6-book series, and editing through that. So when I'm in edit mode, I tend to read a bit less, and that's simply because any spare time that I have from my business, I spend editing. So that's going to definitely impact how much I read, during a month, say. So that was the last video I did, what I was hoping to read by the end of the year. Of course, anything that I don't read by the end of the year is just going to roll over into 2025, and I'll probably add to that. I think I will do my TBRs maybe on a every 2-month basis, just simply because I don't get to read that much in 1 month. But I will go over what I have read each month so that you know my thoughts on what I've read, because it is going to be a broad spectrum of genres. Okay, so let's talk about what I bought. So first package is a Amazon package, and I know what I bought in here. So this is the last 2 books in a romance series that I have been following, written by an author called Anna Hackett. I have actually read quite a few of her series, and these are the final 2. I will put the 3 previous ones up beside me here. This is a series called The Fury Brothers, and it's 5 foster brothers. And this is Take and Claim, which are the last 2 in the series. And I'm trying to remember, Wreath is the brother here, and Beau is the last one. Now, each of these brothers, of course, they're foster brothers. They're not real brothers, but they grew up like a family. So it's a very found family sort of thing. Each book centers around one brother and the woman that comes into their lives, and how they love each other as a family. I love that. Each of them has a very distinct personality. They live in New Orleans. They have very successful businesses in New Orleans, and they're highly respected in the city. So it's really great series. None of the books are really super long, like this one here. I can't remember, was it 250, a little over 250 pages. They're usually a very quick read, not super small text, or anything like that. I find I get through them really, really fast. Now, she has written some other series that just phenomenal stuff from her. I like pretty much everything she writes. There's only been a few odd book here and there within a series that I'd say maybe rated around a 3. Most of her stuff I'd give a 4 to, just simply because it was an entertaining read. And I don't expect these two to be any different in that. So looking forward to reading both of those. Next, I got the What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Now, this is also the second book. It's a 2-book series. Second book is going to be in this box here. This one I had to get on Amazon. They didn't have it at Book Outlet, which is where I buy a lot of my books as much as possible. So I did get the first one in Amazon. It is just a short novella. What is this? It's 150 pages, so just over 150 pages. The second one is in there. It says, I'm a friend of the ushers, I say. The servant nodded gravely at this information. Would you like to come inside? Yes, I said, aware that I was lying. I did not want to go into that tired house dripping with fungus and architectural eyes. But Madeline had summoned me, and here I was. It sounds really interesting. The 2-book series is suspense thriller, so I'm looking forward to starting that one. Then I have this one, which is On Vicious Worlds by Bethany Jacobs. Now, this is book 2. This is book 1 in her series. Okay. Now, I have not read book 1 yet, but I love the premise of it. It is a science fiction based series. It starts out with a theft. I'm just curious to see how everything develops. I haven't read a ton on it, just read the back. I'm not going to read what's on the back here, but this one's new. It just came out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a trilogy. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think it's a trilogy. So I think there's going to be 3 books, but really looking for, yes, it says the Kingdom Trilogy. So this is the second book in the trilogy, and I will probably get the third once I've read these 2. The reviews that I've heard online from different science fiction fans has been really good, especially on the first one. So looking forward to the second one as well. Okay. So now we will get into what I bought from Book of the Month. I don't buy from Book of the Month every month, but what I really like about Book of the Month is that typically I will get books that I would never have considered otherwise. Maybe I have heard of them from other readers and other booktubers, but for the most part, these are, I go on there, if they strike my fancy, then I'll grab them. In this particular case, oh, it's upside down. In this particular case, I did get 2 books that I would normally have not bought. Okay, so let me just get the box out of the way. So first one is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I have never read any of her books. Don't know why, because I like suspense thrillers. It just has happened that I've never read any of them. So as soon as I saw this one and I did read the synopsis, I thought, you know what, this sounds really great. Good place to start with her. I have seen her books reviewed quite a bit from a lot of YouTubers, and it's a very mixed bag. Now, I don't know if that's because some of her books are great and some of them are kind of average. Honestly, if it's a 3 for me, I'll be happy, but I'm looking forward to giving one of her books a try, so this will be my first. The other one is The Dagger in the Flame. Now, I've just started seeing this pop up on YouTubers' videos. Previous to it coming out on Book of the Month, I had never seen it. So I had no idea. Now, it sounds like, it says here, in a deadly game of revenge, the most dangerous mistake of all is falling in love. So it sounds like it's a romantasy type book. My only concern is it's a little bit too YA for me. I typically don't go for YA, but I do read some of it. But, you know, it was with one of my credits, so we'll give it a try. We'll see how it goes. Probably won't read it this year because my TBR is pretty full to the end of the year, so probably won't get to it until 2025, but it's going to be on the list. Okay, so now these next two boxes are Book Outlet. Now, I buy from Book Outlet typically once a month. I will go through, see what's new, see if I missed something. What I do is I typically create sort of a wish list. Sometimes I'll throw them into my cart. I can just leave them sitting in there. And then when I have enough for free shipping, which is typically 5 or 6 books, then I'll do that. So both these two boxes, I think, have 6 books each, and on average, $65. So really, really, really great price, if I'm being frank. I can't get books priced this well anywhere else. Now, the downside of Book Outlet is if you're looking at a group of books that are from like one topic, or say like a trilogy, they might have book 2 and 3, but they won't have book 1. And that's just because what they're selling is the overage or the unsaleable stock that they're getting from other bookstores. So I'll have to go on Amazon or go to Indigo or someplace like that to get the missing book, which a lot of times it's the first book, which is really annoying. I like it when I can get, like, say, book 1, and then if I like the rest, then I might go and buy the rest on Amazon if I like it. But that doesn't always happen that way. So that was the case with this book. Couldn't get the first one, so I got the second one, which is in here. So let's go through what I bought. So here we go. This is the first. This is also a hard copy, whereas this I bought in paperback because this was $20 for this little itty bitty paperback, $20 Canadian. This I think cost me $7 or $8 for a hardback. Insane, right? Yeah. There isn't even a black mark, which a lot of times we'll get a black mark on a book. This was clearly Target because it's got the Target sticker, which I find interesting because we don't have any Targets here anymore. But I figure when you put the two together like that and you think maybe I paid $30 for the 2 books, okay, fine. You know, I can live with that. But I still think $19.99 for this flimsy little paper is robbery, frankly. And if I could have gotten it off Book Outlet, I would have gotten it off Book Outlet. It is what it is. Okay, so then I bought a couple of classics. Now, I haven't bought classics in a really long time. The inspiration was another YouTuber, John Minton from Talking Story, because him and his son were reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And I have not read this in a very long time. I think I might have been in my 20s when I read it, and that was a really long time ago, okay? So I thought I would give it a try, and like, this is a beautiful copy. It's like almost like a suede leather bound, hardbound, and the actual story of Frankenstein is not super long. Can't remember how many pages it is. I think it comes out to 240 pages. It is a slightly smaller text, as you might be able to see. I'm not sure if you can focus on that or not, but I just thought it was a beautiful book, and I am looking forward to rereading this in 2025. Not going to read it this year, obviously, because my TBR is pretty full, but I do want to read it. Classics are not something that I like a lot of them, but I do like this story. The other story that I have read, and it was quite a long time ago, was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Can't remember when it was that I read this. This is, of course, a much longer story than Frankenstein, but fantastic. And I remember how much I enjoyed it. So I thought, well, you know what? I think these, honestly, were $12. I mean, these are absolutely stunning. They've even got the fabric bookmarkers in them that you can use to mark your location in the book, which is beautiful. And like I said, these bindings are like almost like a soft leather, and they're still floppy. I mean, I love this. These are beautiful. So looking forward to reading both of those. And I appreciate the fact that, you know, when you visit some of these other YouTubers, sometimes you get some of the greatest ideas and you think to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read this. So that's a definite must on both of those. Okay, then the last three that's in this particular box would be Patricia Cornwell. Well, now I like reading her books. These are the Scarpetta novels. It follows a lot of different stories. They're all basically suspense thrillers, murders. This one makes me laugh. This is obviously one of those little tiny mass market books, and got that off of there too. It says $13.50 Canadian. I think this was $6. I mean, it wasn't overly expensive. I don't particularly like reading these because I actually find them hard to read. They don't sit well or anything like that. So I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. I might see if I can get a regular paperback or even a hardback of this one. But, you know, for the price, we'll give it a go. We'll see. Then the other two, so that was, The Body Farm by her. I don't know which one it is in the sequence. I don't find with her books that you have to read them in sequence because each story is very individual. So you don't really necessarily have to follow them that way. So I just grab them, whichever ones I haven't read. This one here would be Livid. I'm not going to go over what's in them. If you want to check them out, you can. I pretty much read all of them. I don't even usually read the inside because I know each book is going to be a great book and it's going to follow a great suspense story, murder, typically, of course. And so that's this one, Livid. And again, these are paperbacks. Now, you'll notice there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. A little bit of a munch on the cover here. But, you know, inside they're very plain. I mean, it's just a typical hardback book. And it's actually got her signature in it, which I think is kind of cool. So looking forward to this one. The Unnatural Death is this one. So I will be reading those probably again in 2025 and getting through those. Now, this is the latest batch. Should have opened this before. I hate opening these books. These boxes are a pain in the neck to get into. Okay, so let's get in here. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, looks good. All right, so I picked up the first and second book in the Twisted series by Anna Wang. I thought I would try these. I have never read any of her romances. I've seen a lot of them talked about by a lot of YouTubers, particularly Larry, who I follow, Larissa Colombo. I can't remember her last name. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, Larry has read these, and I've seen her reviews on them, and I have seen quite a few other people mention them. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'll give them a try. They were incredibly inexpensive at the book outlet, and they are the first two, which I liked the fact that they're the first two in the series. I can't remember exactly how many books are in the series. I think there's 4, so we'll give those a try. And the romances. I love a good romance, right? So, okay. Let's try and get into this a little bit more here. Okay, here we go. Another romance. Now, Indigo Ridge by Daphne Perry. I have read another series by her. Cannot remember what it was called, but it was one that was based on these women, and they all had this car, and they went from location to location, and they had grown up as homeless kids in a junkyard. It was such a great series, and I remember I loved it so much. I can't remember, it's 3 or 4 books. Really, really great. Haven't read anything else from Daphne Perry since that. So I thought to myself, this is book 1 from this particular series, which I don't even know what this series is. But because I loved that series so much, I thought I would give this one a try. I did read the the synopsis on it and thought, you know what, typical small town romance. I'm going to try that one. Again, romance book. Okay, so now we have a couple of fantasy. So we have, I think, book 1, book 1 and book 2, Trial of the Sun Queen, Rule of the Aurora King. So this is by Nisha J. Tooley. So I've got the 2 of them, again, book 1 and book 2. Give them a try. The reviews that I've seen online, again, have been some good, some bad, some like, some don't. I'm one of these people where I just read the back. If it tweaks my interest, I don't really care about the reviews 100%. Because if you're seeing some good and some bad, then that means that you might like it, you might not like it. Reviews are very subjective. You know, I think that you take them with a grain of salt. But if what the person is saying about the book that they read, if it sounds interesting to you, give it a try. Because you might really, really like it, even if they were milk water about it. So, and that would be the case with this one. I went in and I read the reviews on the first book, and they sounded interesting, and the actual topic sounded interesting. I do try to avoid spoilers as much as possible, simply because I want to read it for myself and decide for myself. So that'll be the case with these 2. We'll see how it goes with that one. And then, last but not least, I don't remember. Oh, yes. Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. Now, I have the first book. I kind of wish this one was paperback, but it's a nice floppy hardback, so it shouldn't be too bad to read because it is pretty thick. First book, I got it in a paperback. Super floppy. Haven't read it yet. It is definitely on my for sure next one. I'm not a huge vampire person, but I loved the premise of the book, so I am looking forward to it. And I thought this one was, again, it was for sale. Can't remember how much I paid for this, but this would be normally in Canadian $42, and I might have paid $11 for it. So really, really good deal. So I can't fault buying it for that price. Super happy with the purchase and can't wait to dig into that one. So that would be all of my purchases for today. So I wanted to talk about a couple of other things, which I have them written down here. Just that I'm trying to improve. So I would really love to hear what you have to say. Now I am using a new mic because I was just using the sound on the iPhone. I am using the iPhone. So I've purchased a Hollyland Lark M1 microphone, wireless microphone, and it works really great so far. Sounds great, but I'd love to hear what you think. I also use an exterior light. Now I do have natural light coming in from my right side, but I'm just using my lighting from when I used to be a photographer. Had it sitting around, thought why not give it a try. So I've got that coming in from my left. I think the lighting has balanced fairly well, and that's simply because I'm recording at a time where the light coming in my window is not overly bright. But I do notice it kind of fluctuating a little bit, and that's because I have a monster maple tree, that's kind of off to the side from the angle the sun comes at this time of year. But I think it's okay. again, looking to you to give me some feedback. I just want to say thanks again for joining me. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a feature author. Now, I thought I would try this at least once a month, is to feature an author that is one of my favorites, that I've read a lot of their books. In most cases, it's probably going to be a romance author, and probably authors you may not have heard of too much. I don't hear them talked about online a lot. And in YouTube, I do tend to find that a lot of the same books crop up all the time. So I want to give you something interesting and something different. So that'll be what will be coming next, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. And of course, I'll look to you to tell me, is this great? Is it not great? Do you want something else? Just let me know. And it's been really great talking to you, and I hope to see you soon.